Hi Moglets, it's Layla Day. Gonna be raising her, building her, doing a little showcase. We're gonna just start with raising her. We should have everything for 70. I feel like the most important thing is definitely going to be her shield, her elemental skill. This gets stronger as you level it up. And from everything I've seen from her, just in terms of numbers and everything, it seems like her shield actually has a good amount of potential. We need to craft some sealed scrolls, which is hilarious. Let's go ahead and get all of these up to at least level 2 so we can just make all of the smaller grade into the bigger grade. Can also do the same thing with the books here. Eula bonus, come on. 2? Yes. And just let's go ahead and get all of the sealed scrolls because I know we'll need a good chunk of them. Sucrose, 10 bonus? 10 bonus it was, even though I actually deserved 13 and a half actually. So we're gonna start by getting this up to 6. I really don't think her basic is gonna be important, but we'll get to that last. I don't think we'll be able to raise it very high anyway. The only thing that goes up with her burst is the damage. And I really can't imagine there's going to be a world where Layla can do a lot of damage, honestly. Hey, but we can get that up to 6 anyway. We're actually not too far. I think these should have respawned already, and then it's like 3 to 4 more boss runs. Yeah, we can do that because it's going to be a while until God mode. First boss run, are we lucky we're not? Pyro Goblet, very, very bad Pyro Goblet. Next run, ooh, we did get 3 this time, okay. Pretty interesting death stands here actually, starts with 4 subs, has maybe like Noelle or Albedo could use it. I remember there's a pretty decent chunk here in Alka, and they are back. I see that little shining. We really don't need too many of them, so that's good. No, so close. Beep, there was 5 in one shot, let's go. And I think these 2 will actually do it. We should already have enough. Yes, indeed. If we're lucky, we just need to go back and do one more boss now. When Nahida drowned, all of their bursts died, which is, I kind of forgot that was a thing. That is a little annoying. This team definitely relies on Shogun's burst. Well, by the time I could actually get her burst off, he was almost dead anyway. Let's see if we are lucky. Yes, we are. Very cool. Dev Circlet, no. One of the slowest times I've ever killed that dude, and we actually got an achievement for it, so I'm kind of curious. Oh, interrupt the energy flow of the Aeon Blight Drake by attacking the core on its head. I didn't mean to do that, but yeah, Layla going up to 80. Very cool. Also for this one, I don't think I'm gonna go out of my way to make it like super F2P, like 4-star weapons and everything, because I do kind of want to see like the sort of upper potential of her shield, which is still not going to be impressive because this is at level 6, and there's no way in hell, sorry Layla, that I'm using the weekly boss mats on her before my Nahida is where I want her to be. We're gonna do the talent and constellation overview actually before the build. So if you know nothing about Layla, it's a good place to start, and her build will make more sense, of course. Starting with her basic, she is a sword user. Her basic isn't anything special. The animation is pretty cool though. She throws out a star and slices the star, which explodes. It seems to be more visual than anything else. There's a bit of extra AoE there, I guess. I don't know how often you're gonna be basicing regardless though. Her charge attack is very standard looking for a sword user as well. Nothing really to say here. I'd say her elemental skill is more the core of her kit than anything else. She first produces a shield based on her max HP. This shield acts like any other shield, absorbing damage, but also creating these stars. It creates 1 star every 1.5 second or 2 stars per elemental skill, up to 4 stars at once. When you get these 4 stars and you're actually in a battle, they will fire off seeking enemies. From a multiplier's perspective, the strength of the shield already is pretty impressive for a 4-star, and it can be further boosted by her first passive up to 24% extra strength. So her elemental skill alone does already make her a pretty good like off-field defensive support and cryo applicator. Her burst is essentially more the same. It'll fire off these stars from a dedicated little orb in the sky. This will also increase the rate at which you get the shield stars, because every time one of these hits, you get a star on your shield. And her last passive here just increases the damage of her shield stars by 1.5 of her max HP. The stars from her burst already scale off of max HP, but it does not seem like the stars from her shield do. Just a normal multiplier, which indicates it scales from attack. As far as constellation goes, C1 is a shield buff. It increases the strength of the shield. Also a shield with 35% of the strength will be given to any other party members around you, so it can be useful for co-op stuff, similar to Zhongli's C2. C2 gives you 1 energy per shield star that hits opponents. She can produce them rather quickly if she has burst going and is also C6, so it's not a horrible constellation. C4 is a normal or charge attack damage buff for potentially other party members. It basically tacks on 5% of Layla's max HP as damage. assuming before all the multipliers, like how it is. So it could be a decently significant buff, but this is only for one normal attack or one charge attack, and this only happens once Layla has accumulated 4 stars and they start to fire off. Then the next normal or charge attack unit from some other party member will have this buff attached to it. It sounds small, but maybe it could be significant. I can't really test it as I don't have her at C4. C6 is a damage increase for all of her stars, and the creation time for her shield stars is decreased by 20%, again making C2 a little better. So personally, I would have to say her constellations don't seem all that great. C1 sounds pretty nice, especially if you do a lot of co-op stuff. You can give everyone else a small little shield, can protect a hit or two, and it'll become 20% stronger. Moving on to build, I actually did peep the trial run build, and she was running Blizzard Strayer. I'm sure she could be fine in like a freeze comp and, you know, she'd have that extra crit rate, but I would mostly be interested in Layla as someone who could, you know, apply cryo in either a freeze or a melt comp while producing a decently strong shield as like a Zhongli replacement. I don't think there's any way she could have that strong of a shield. One, her base HP just isn't going to match up to Zhongli's at 9,800 versus 14.6 thousand. And secondly, because Zhongli's shield has 150% damage absorption against all elements and physical, whereas she just has the standard 100 plus 250 versus cryo. The base absorption at an equal skill level is pretty comparable to Zhongli's actually, but Layla does have the added benefit of being able to more easily C3 her than Zhongli. So with all that being said, we are going to try and make her shield as strong as possible because her cryo application doesn't really depend on stats. I would like to go 4-piece tenacity also because I think her buff will be able to stay up pretty much consistently, maybe even more consistently than Zhongli's because, you know, enemies can move away from the pillars and they're not necessarily getting attacked by it all the time. I would also like to go triple HP, but it's impossible to have both as I only kept element damage bonuses on these goblets. As for weapon, like I said, I don't want to go super F2P here. The best is going to be key for the HP percent there. This also makes up for the fact we can't go triple HP. We have crit damage, which is going to be pretty much useless. We could do a triple HP later and just get off of 4-piece tenacity, but I think 4-piece tenacity is going to be pretty good as a support. So with her current build, she's sitting at 38,000 HP. It's not too bad, honestly. It's a little bit more than Zhongli, but my Zhongli is built as like a sub DPS with geo damage and crit. Also, he's still using a Favonius Lance. The rest of her stats are, I guess, less important. Energy recharge will be somewhat important, I suppose, but her burst is very cheap. So I'm trying to see how consistently we can keep up 4-piece tenacity. The buff only lasts for 3 seconds and it can be triggered every 0.5 seconds. There is no stack system, so you need someone who can consistently hit with elemental skills, someone off field. On second thought, I'm not too sure about Layla unless you're also doing her burst where the stars are shooting out pretty quickly, but I think there will be a lot of downtime. Unfortunately, there's no real way to know unless you're just, you know, constantly checking stats. But I mean, she should get the proc like twice per star because they shoot out pretty slowly. I think during burst, you will have the buff most of the time at least. So 4-piece wouldn't be bad if you don't have to run a crit damage circlet and you had something else. I unfortunately do not. So while I can't imagine it probably is one of her best 4 sets, we're probably just gonna go 2-piece so we can have more HP. 4-piece oblige would also work. With her new set now, she's sitting at 44,000 HP, and yeah, considering everything that scales off of HP, I think that might be more important than the tenacity set. We have a pretty big group of enemies here. What I kind of want to do is just use her shield and see how long it survives. Just kind of standing in the middle of these guys here. We're not, of course, you know, being as efficient as possible. Okay, it actually just ran out there because I know her skill has the same cooldown as the shield length. So let's try again, just chilling around. I think once the, okay, that time it broke. The shield does get stronger, I think, depending on the amount of stars we have currently. So it's always gonna change strength. It's gonna be hard to really do a one-to-one comparison. I'm trusting my 278 HP Shogun with your shield, Layla. Hey, it worked. Oh, I had Zhongli's also. I'm not even sure where to start really. Like usually in freeze comps, the one freezing is the DPS with Blizzard Strayer and all, like, you know, Ayaka or Ganyu or whatever. But I have very little hope that she can DPS. Being the cryo applicator for like a physical team wouldn't be bad either, like a Kaching. With a ton of HP and this key weapon, she can also provide a lot of elemental mastery. But there's probably not that many people that have the key and not like Nilu, where it would be definitely better. Well, I guess also if you need cryo. Oh man, this is kind of hard. Though at least my Kaching is definitely kind of hardwired into being an Electro nowadays at C6 here. But I guess a lot of people don't have a C6 Kaching, so would be worth exploring at least. Neither of them are super healthy, so I'm gonna hope Layla's shield will protect us from whatever dangers lie in this last daily quest that do be looking like a walking mushroom. It's a time trial challenge. Okay, that'll be pretty interesting. So let's just go ahead and start with her shield. I'm gonna do her burst as soon as we have it, but there are, you know, some super conducts, and I accidentally did her E twice, meaning we are imbued with Electro now. So we're gonna go ahead and do her burst and then get another E in there. Let's do a burst to superconduct them all. Let's just see if the shield survives, honestly, past those 12 seconds. I think it did as soon as it runs out. Yeah, we can go back and get another one. So I technically can have a 100% uptime, but there's no like leg room there. The cooldown is exactly as long as the duration, even if her shield could keep up with the damage, which it seems like it is able to, more or less. Look who it is, our good friend Masanori. We're just gonna be doing some shield tests, I guess, seeing if she can take one big hit from Masanori. I like doing this for shields. Of course, it will depend on how many stars she has, etc. Okay, she can't. To be fair, Masanori does hit pretty hard, and she didn't take too much damage from it. We're gonna boom, boom. Okay, two hits. Those were not as strong hits, but still, 3,000 damage. Let's try a lightning imbued. Oh yeah, this one hurts bad. You know, I'm surprised we only took that much damage from his electro blade swirling attack. Boom, boom. It's solid. It's definitely no Zhongli shield, but obviously I do want to refresh my memory about how strong his is. I think this is his normal build, actually. I'm not going to bother building Zhongli full HP just because that's how I build him. So he technically could have a stronger shield where Layla barely could. Maybe if I got a better 4-piece tenacity that had triple HP, you know, it could be slightly stronger because tenacity gives us a bit more. But yeah, let's just see. Why? I'm standing still, Masanori. How can you miss? All right, here we go. Oh, this is the one. Okay. I think that broke on Layla's hit. I mean, Zhongli has like by far the strongest shield in the game, so it's pretty unfair to compare regardless. Okay. That actually broke his shield. That was like 2 of his really strong attacks though. I really wish you could see the shield health. That would make all of this so much easier. Obviously my Zhongli shield is pretty weak compared to most other Zhongli shields because, you know, some people just run him for the shield strength. I don't feel like it's necessary to have basically an indestructible shield though, because at the end of the day, I am still trying to not just face tank everything. Oh, wait a minute. That just survived that was one of his big attacks. I do obviously want to reiterate that this isn't really a fair comparison, but like, boom, boom. Oh, E. That's gonna hurt. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, actually, when you consider she's rocking a level 6 skill, she's not level 90, she's a 4-star, but yeah, no matter how you slice it, I don't think her shield can ever be as strong as Zhongli's regardless. If you're someone who needs a shield for a certain comp, like Ganyu, you know, you have to stop and do charge attacks all the time, or Yoimiya, where she does the most damage where she's not moving around all the time, I think she could be a replacement, especially in a freeze Ganyu comp. Having that second cryo for cryo resonance would be pretty good as well. Just for fun, and to wrap this up, we'll go ahead and build her in Blizzard Strayer. I really don't have much hope for this, to be honest, but we'll do what we can. We are going to keep her with the key though, because at the end of the day, most of her stuff does still scale off of HP. Her burst stars especially, and then with her second passive, a bit with her shield stars also. She has 35 crit rate to 168 crit damage, which with Blizzard Strayer is actually more than enough. Yeah, well, we're gonna try this very weird team. Let's just go to this ley line. Really, dude. Out of all the enemies in the entire game, it had to be cryo slimes. That is something. All right, we have this dude. We're just gonna start with a Chi-Chi, swirl that real quick, get some Yelan in there, already frozen. And here we go, we're going to do this and burst and just kind of see what the damage is doing while also trying to keep him frozen for that extra crit. It's doing like 5,000 damage. She can't really DPS. I mean, if you really feel like you don't need a stronger shield from having just more HP, then maybe it's worth it. Trying to see what else. Yeah, it's like 5,000 to 6,000. Really nothing to write home about considering it's basically single target damage and it's not firing super quick or anything. I mean, she could be built better, but like at the end of the day, I think it's a waste of time to try and make her deal damage. I mean, like triple HP Blizzard Strayer might be all right as well. I don't have that to test either. But yeah, I think with a bit more investment, I think her shield can be very strong. Easily one of the strongest shields. Again, can't really compare to Zhongli, but who can really? But if you need cryo application for something and Zhongli doesn't fit, or you don't have Zhongli, she is a good alternative. Seems like a pretty niche character on one hand, but then like shields can be useful in a lot of scenarios. Cryo in general is just a little bit less useful these days because of all the Dendro reactions and the fact nothing happens with cryo. And from most of my experience in terms of like melt comps, it's usually the cryo doing the DPS, like Ganyu or Ayaka or whatever. And she really just can't. Melting with pyros just doesn't seem that great since we have so many good hydro applicators for vaporize already, and that just seems to be more consistent overall. So yeah, your freezing unit for superconduct. I guess if you'd rather have a shield than healing, like Chi-Chi or whatever. I have pretty mixed thoughts, honestly. I don't really see a use for me in particular. Nothing I can really think of that I'd be like, yeah, I would want to use her in this team. If you do though, if you think there's some magical team she's going to be great in, make sure to leave that in the comments below. Otherwise, if you just enjoyed the video and want to support the channel, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Thanks, as always, for watching, and until next time.